we will talk about relationships, because when we are checking, the life areas, each and every life area could be affected by our relationships. So let's check this topic together. We could have different relationships, like love, like family, friends, work, business relationships. We could have further relationships as well, not so tight. For example, with our neighbors, but actually our neighbors could be also our friends and further people around us. Today we will check what kind of impact you have with this kind of relationships on your life. First, I want to share with you that in this world, in these days, we could have an illusion about relationships. Our generation is the last one who had a childhood without mobile phones. So this is a huge difference, because when we went out with our friends, when we were in the nature, we were really there. We didn't have any opportunity to have a smartphone in our hand, in our bag. We were able to be really in the present moment. I don't say that we cannot stay in the present moment now, but it's a little bit different to organize these things. You could have a focus on that, you could have an intention to do that, but yeah, so it's a little bit different now. And that's why this kind of topic, the illusion of the relationships, is so important, because maybe you had already an example in your life when you had a communication with someone, for example, using text messages, and then in the real life you had a really another type communication form, communication type, communication experience with this kind of person. And it's not just about the communication, it's about the social media too. Some people could think that likes are love, but actually when you have a high self-esteem, when you have self-love, when you appreciate yourself, when you have self-worth, then actually you don't need to have an exact number of likes to feel better. You don't need this kind of reaction from other people. I don't say that you couldn't share photos, videos or any contents on social media. I say that it is so important to be aware of that why do you do this? Do you want to have appreciation? Do you want to show something, for your ex or for your friends? Or you could be in the present moment, enjoy the present moment without taking out always your mobile phone, or you want to prove something for others. Because if it's happening like this, then I could really recommend to do something self-work, some kind of self-work on yourself. And after that, you could see the clear picture that why am I doing this? Even if you are scrolling always your phone and you are checking, the news or social media, if you want to have always this kind of input in your head, it is so good to check that why, what you actually need, in your life. If you want to have real relationships in your life, family, friends, love, then shift your focus and then just step out, from the illusion of this kind of social media world. And I really want to highlight this. I don't say that don't use this. I'm using this kind of platforms. Actually, I'm using mostly for my own business, not for my personal life. But yes, so there is difference. And you could see the illusion if you want to see this. In the Theta Healing, we are using the Theta Healing downloads. You could use them as positive affirmations as well, but these are energetic activations. So if you want to have another definition of something, if you want to have a feeling of something in your life and actually really have the receptors in your body flow this kind of energy to have this kind of feeling really in the present moment, then you could say yes. So I'm gonna give you some downloads now about this kind of topics, what I mentioned now. If you want to have this, just comment yes. I know what is the difference between the social media and my life. I know how to make difference between the social media and my own life. I know what it feels like to see the differences between my life and the social media. I know how to see the differences between my life and the social media, and I know when to see the differences between my life and the social media. If you want to have these energetic changes, Just comment yes. The next topic is very, very important. You know that we are creating our world with our thoughts, with our emotions, and our words as well, spoken words. So in the collective consciousness, there are some misunderstandings, there are some illusions, okay, about relationships in the 21st century. These kind of illusions could be like this, that it is hard to date in these days. It is hard to have friends in my life. There are a lot of fake people around me. The problem is that even if you had this kind of experience, or even if there are some people in the outside world who are acting in that way, it doesn't mean that you need to have this kind of experience in your own life. But if you're gonna speak about that, if you will think about that, if you will think this way, then actually you will be able to attract this kind of experiences, even if you have nothing to do originally with them. So focus on yourself, and if you had this kind of conversations, if you had this kind of thoughts in your life, then just start to say that, cancel, delete this kind of thought forms and spoken words, and shift your focus and start to think like that, that I attract the best people for myself. I attract familiar people as I am. I attract valuable relationships. I have valuable, abundant, amazing relationships in my life. And then after that, you could have another experience. Now I will share with you some information about that how you could manifest the one in your life, or even precious people, valuable friendships, or even how you could change your family contacts. The first thing is what you want in your life. Okay, so for example, if you want to have a friendship, if you want to have a new friend, if you want to have the one in your life, if you want to have a love relationship, what is your priority? Make a list in your hand. Don't focus on what you don't want to have in your life. Focus on what you want to have in your life. And actually, really make a list. What is important for you? It could be about not just the inside characteristics, but the outside as well. If you feel that your hobbies are important, then you could manifest according to that. So for example, you could write down that you have the same activities with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, like hiking or swimming, whatever you want. When you have this kind of manifestation list, you could make the manifestation, but soon I will give you some information about that. The next thing is, if you have this kind of list, what you want to have, even if it with your family, okay, that you want to have, a calm relationship with your family members, okay. But the next thing is what you could do. What did you put into this relationship? What are your values? And then you could make, a value list for yourself, that what you are able to put into this relationship. Sometimes this is so good because, we could see ourselves from a different perspective. We will able to see that what we should improve in ourselves, or we are able to realize that how many amazing values, virtues we already have. Self-love, self-esteem, self-worth are really, really important in case of any relationship. If you love yourself, then after that you will able to love someone else. Our relationships are reflection of our subconscious mind. So if you are not okay with yourself, then at some point you will realize these characteristics in the other person. At this point, you should have your consciousness, because in that case, you won't judge the other person. You will start to reflect on yourself, because there is a difference what the collective energy is thinking about this kind of reflection and actually what's going on. The thing is, and I just mentioned this topic so many times, that we have our mind. There are two parts of the mind. The one is the conscious mind. When we are speaking, talking with someone, then it's about 5%. And the other part, it's around 95% of your mind. This is the subconscious mind. So it means when you are thinking about the problem in your life, when you are thinking especially about your relationships, then this is just the surface. This is the 5%. And it could happen that you have something very different in your subconscious mind. It's in the deep side of your mind. It's so natural because there is a protection around the subconscious mind, because any traumas, any feelings, any experience what we had previously in our life, it just stored there. And this is so normal, that because there is this protection, you don't want to relive each and every moment your past traumas. But if you start to work on yourself, for example with the theta healing, this kind of protection could be flexible. And in that case, you could go deeper and deeper in a really nice way, in a really easy way. So it doesn't mean that you will face with all of the traumas in just one moment. No, it is so nice, it is so calm, it is so loving. That's why I really like this kind of technique. It doesn't mean if you have a reflection in your life right now that, for example, your partner doesn't appreciate you, that actually you don't appreciate yourself right now in this lifetime. Because when we are checking the subconscious mind, we could have this kind of experiences, this kind of imprints in our mind, not just from our life. We could have from our ancestors, we could have, for example, from our childhood, as we are just watching some things happening in the outside world. So the situation should not happen for us. It is possible just we are watching something and our brain, our mind just saved it. And also, we are on this earth, so there are a lot of experiences on the earth. There are some collective consciousness as well. And if you agree with this, then you could also accept, the past lives, other lives. There are a lot of opportunities where we could have limiting beliefs from. Let's see an example. Your ancestors could have an experience with the men's side that they were not appreciated by men. They saved this kind of limiting beliefs that people or men don't appreciate me. And then this kind of subconscious energy is there. And for example, this situation happened to your ancestors when they were 30 years old. And what happened? You reach this kind of age, you are 30 years old, and something happens in the outside world. You just see something, or somebody just says something, and this kind of information will be just triggered, and this kind of limiting beliefs will be activated. This is so important. Not all of the limiting beliefs are activated in the same times. There are some chapters, some periods when they are inactivated, and then something happens and they will be activated again. So you have this kind of information from your ancestors, and then you start to face with this kind of challenges, and you don't know the why, because you start to think, with your 5%, with the conscious mind. I didn't have this kind of challenges in my life. I appreciate myself. I should work more and harder on myself. But actually the problem is, it's not like this. The problem is coming, from the DNA, from the ancestor line, and, with the subconscious energetic healing method, you will able to see that, okay, what's going on in the subconscious mind. That's why I love so much the theta healing technique. We are using this already on the seminars, and also in the sessions. These are amazing. We could see amazing changes and really instant changes. Next example I wanted to share with you, and I already mentioned previously, it's about the dating. So if you are facing with challenges to date in this day, if you will talk like this, that dating is so hard for me now, then at some point, if you are repeating again and again and again, if you have a really huge emotional background for this kind of belief or thought, then it will be saved automatically in your subconscious mind. So be very careful what you are speaking about. If you want to change this kind of limiting beliefs, if you want to take care not just about the surface, but also about the subconscious mind, you could use the theta brainwaves. These are so amazing because the theta brainwaves are the doorway for the subconscious mind, and you are connected with the divine source energy. You feel very protected, very safe, and you could move forward with ease, joy, grace, and love. I want to give a little hope about dating because people sometimes forget that there are some relationships which are what are meant to be. So we don't need to push so hard these relationships because it will happen for sure. The thing is about that when will happen and how. If you have a period right now when you are alone, when you have a really challenging relationship and you are already not sure that this person is the one, then I could say that this period could be your preparation period. You could use this period for yourself and actually start to check that what kind of limitations you have about love, about relationship, and start to change yourself, start to upgrade yourself, because you could meet someone in the same vibration. It's not possible that you want to meet the one and the one is already on a really high vibrational level, but you are still in guilt, in shame, or other heavy emotions. You need to have on the same vibrational level, and then you could meet with each other. So you could check with the Theta Healer. Actually, I'm checking with my clients as well in my sessions that when you will be able to meet the one, when you are ready for each other. And then the next thing is this is so important, the how. This is so cool if you are ready for each other, if you are prepared. You will able to recognize the person and you will step into this future relationship with love, with joy, with ease. And you won't have any unnecessary challenges, any unnecessary fears. You will able to receive, you will be open for your person. This is so nice, this is so beautiful. So if you have a period like this, then start to work on yourself, start to make self-development, start to have a good relationship with yourself, because you will be prepared and you will have an amazing relationship with the one. But be patient. You could use your psychic abilities, your intuitions. You could go to somewhere. You could have a really good mentor, theta healer, and just get the information that what is your timing with this person and just get prepared. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next week I will bring another topic. So if you're interested about that, don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate your likes and shares always. And if you had any insights, you could share with me in the comment. I will check the comments as well. Lots of love. Bye.